Hello, welcome to more yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're in for a little bit of a playful class, and I hope it ends up being playful. That's my intention anyway. We're going to be doing some balancing, particularly single leg balancing, trying to bear the weight of the opposite leg forward and back, which maybe doesn't sound all that complicated, but it's going to get tricky. So maybe you want to set it next to a wall for stability. Maybe you have blocks or other sort of props, like a couple wine bottles that you could use to bring the floor up to you, just to give you something for a little bit of stability. Heck, even some ski poles. Like, get into the Winter Olympic spirit. Although by the time you watch this, it's probably going to be the end of the Winter Olympics. So anyway, let's start lying down. If you're comfortable there, you can always start on your side or seated if you prefer. And then you might need some time to get some little wiggle or tension out of the body. And depending on how your body feels, maybe it's better to have the legs extended, maybe it's better to have the knees bent. And then for a few breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, big sigh of your breath away. Couple more. And then maybe you close your lips and keep breathing through your nose. Of course, you can breathe through your mouth if that feels better for you today. And there's nothing that you need to fix or change about your breath. You don't need to deepen it, you don't need to lengthen it. But do start observing your breath, the natural inhale and exhale. How does it feel? How does it sound? Some days it's really easy to drop in to the pinpoint focus of the breath, sort of the space between the nostrils or the tip of the nose. And sometimes you need to broaden that focus, maybe even to the whole body, and feel the movement in your limbs with every breath. But wherever or however wide or narrow your focus is, really concentrate on your breath. This type of meditation is called Anapanasati, which is the focus on the rising and the falling energies in the body. And it is the hardest form of meditation, but it's the one that you can do without any other props or mechanisms or tricks, if you will. And when I say it's the hardest form of meditation, well, you might already notice that your mind has started to wander, or that it will. And when you notice that happening, acknowledge whatever thought you might be having with absolute compassion and no judgment for yourself. And then try to let it go. And then bring your focus back to your breath. And so while it is not necessarily easy, some days the mind really likes to jump from thought to thought. It is simple, right? Just follow the breath. Last few moments here. And then when you feel ready to, start to bring a little bit of movement back into your body. Whatever way feels best for you to wake up. Maybe take a big overhead morning stretch. Maybe the movements are a bit smaller. And then draw your legs in toward your chest and take a little rock from side to side. You could draw circles with your thigh bones here in the hip sockets. You might use your hands to guide the legs, or you might just use the muscles of your core. You're gently starting to warm up those muscles that we probably going to need later. Maybe take that little twist or rock from side to side. Nothing too crazy. All right, and then reach your legs up to the sky. You might shake them out. Knees could be deeply bent. You might just point and flex the toes. You could reach your arms up to the sky as well. Right, just getting that little bit of added movement. All right, and then keep the legs reaching up to the sky. And then make sure they're active. So they don't have to be touching, right? Depending on the shape of the legs, it might be really awkward to have the toes touching, but sort of hug the legs toward each other. And then release your arms to the side, or you might even bring them behind your head. And then very gently bend the right knee, bring the toes to the floor. And then as you exhale, lift it back up. Inhale, bend the left knee, touch the toes to the floor, exhale, come back up. So keep doing this, keep pressing your low back into the floor as you're here. Now, option 1 is to stay here. Option 2 is to curl the back of the shoulders, or the back of the head and the shoulder blades up off the earth. Option 3 would be to extend the leg toward the floor rather than tapping the toes down. So lots of options along the way, but the whole time, can you think of pressing your low back into the floor? Last, let's do 2 more here. All right, and then bend your knees, shake it all out, little rock from side to side. And then you might grab the backs of your thighs here, start to rock and roll up and down your spine. Maybe you play it with shoulder blades to sit bones to shoulder blades to sit bones. If that doesn't feel good, then roll to one side. Use your hands, press yourself up, and we'll meet on hands and knees. So eventually getting to sit up here with your knees underneath your hips. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Then hands outer shoulder width apart or wider. Let's just take a few moments here to move through cat and cow. So inhale, dip the belly, beam your heart forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone and round through the spine. And then inhale into cow. Exhale, round into cat. So the whole time here, your elbows can be straight, but not locked out. So there's that little bit of buoyancy, that little bit of play. Or maybe you bend them a little bit more and start to get into the little side body. You could do big barrel rolls through the chest or shoulders. You could wag your tail a little bit. Maybe send your hips further back toward your heels. Maybe bend the elbows super deeply and kind of snake towards the mat. Last couple breaths here. All right. And then come back to center. Make sure your hands are nice and wide. Fingers spread wide. You can stay here on hands and knees, stepping one leg back out behind you and then the other, and press the heel away to get into the calf muscles, or join me, lift the hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Once there, pedal the heels towards the floor, bending one knee and then the other. Take it slowly. You might even choose to hook one foot behind the opposite ankle just to get even deeper into the calf muscles, but go wherever you need to go. I'm less concerned about the upper body form here than I am about you getting a little bit of a release through the legs. And then wherever you are, bend your knees, look forward. On your exhale, walk, step, or hop to the top edge of your mat into your standing forward fold. You could rest your elbows on your knees or thighs. or bring hands to blocks, right? To bring the floor up to you. You could clasp opposite elbows with hands, maybe take a little sway from side to side, right? Whatever you need here. But make sure there's a micro bend in your knees, right? You don't want them locked out behind you. Trust me, that is, in the long run, a really dangerous way to practice yoga, right? Dangerous for your joints. Last couple of breaths here. All right, and then bring your fingertips to your shins. Inhale, little part way to lift back, and the next stays long. Really, right? Don't lock out those knees. Exhale, let it all go. Couple more. And then bend your knees. Tuck your chin into your chest. Slowly start to roll up to standing. One vertebra at a time. Slow as you need to go. Till eventually you come all the way up to standing. Maybe take a couple loops of your shoulders, hop back and down, a little wiggle, noodle, or shake out. All right, send all your weight to your right foot. Feel a little buoyancy on that supporting knee. You can come to the toes of the left foot, and you're going to take some pulses of that supporting leg. So starting to work our stabilizers. Maybe you lift that left foot up off the floor. And then kick your heel to bum, lean forward, keep the pulses going. Toes can be on the earth. I'm going to turn to face the profile. Okay, and then bring that left knee forward again. Inhale here, and then exhale, reach the left leg back. Again, toes could be on the floor the whole time. And a couple of these, right? Keep bending the right knee as you reach the left leg back. Left arm comes forward as the left leg goes back. Doesn't have to be super crazy. Again, we're just firing up those stabilizers. Last one here. All right, and then step down, shake out the legs, and then we'll switch sides. So again, send the weight to that left foot, a little buoyancy on that supporting knee. Come to the toes of the right foot and get those pulses going. Maybe you pick up the right leg. Kick the heel to bum, lean forward, keep the pulses going. Again, toes could be on the floor. And then bring that right knee forward again. Slow the pulses down. Inhale here. Exhale, reach the right leg back. Right arm comes forward, left knee bent. Inhale, back up. And exhale, reach. And so a few more of these on your own time, on your own breath. Hopefully really starting to feel those glutes firing up on the supporting leg. Holy moly. All right, and then step the right leg down. Oh, a little shake out. Let's do some hip circles. Bend the knees. Take the circle one direction, and then switch other direction. And then maybe a little twist from side to side. All right, here we go. A little bit of balancing. So send the weight back to your right foot. And again, I want buoyancy on that supporting knee, because if your knee isn't bent, your glutes can't work as hard as they could to fight for stability. Okay, here we go. And then pick up the left knee. Wrap that hip down. Hands could be on your hips, or maybe you have one hand on the wall. And I want you to extend the left leg forward. Now, without hiking up the hip or leaning back or buckling under, right? So I don't care how high that left leg is. I just want you to keep tall posture. And then maybe take a few pulses of the supporting leg here. And then maybe take a few pulses of the lifted leg. Starting to feel hip flexors, quads. All right, and then slowly start to teeter-totter. You're going to sweep the left leg back, hinge the upper body forward, keep that micro bend or deeper bend on that right leg. Hands stay on hips, wrap the shoulder blades toward each other. And then teeter-totter back or swoop. I guess it's more like a pendulum than it is a teeter-totter. And then swoop. And then come back up. Last time. And then step the left leg down. Give your right leg a little break. Shake it out. Okay, and then send your weight to that left foot again. Hands on hips or on the wall. And then start to pick up that right leg. Make sure you're not hiking up that right hip. So that's why I like hands on hips. It helps kind of even out the hips. Little micro bend on that supporting knee. And then extend your right leg forward. Again, I don't care how high it is. Maybe take a few pulses of that supporting leg. Maybe take a few pulses of the lifted leg. Almost think of pulling the heel toward you to lift it up. And then slow as you can, we're going to do that pendulum swing. Hinge at the hips. Little micro bend in the knee, reach that left or right leg back. Wrap the elbows toward each other. And then inhale. Come back up. Right leg forward. Exhale, sweep it back. Inhale back up. Whew, usually this is my, oh no, wait, this is my not great stabilization leg. Last time, reach the right leg forward. Exhale, sweep it back. Oh, and then stand up. Yow! Take that release. Bend your knees. Hip circles one direction and then the other. Here I am being a complete melodramatist about this, but maybe you're not even feeling anything. That's okay too. All right, so let's get a little release. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhale, melt forward, fold. Okay, couple breaths here. Maybe you do a couple partway lifts. Maybe just hang out in your forward fold, giving your hamstrings, your glutes a little bit of a break. All right, and then bend your knees, plant your hands, and come down to hands and knees. Little wiggle or shake or cat and cow. All right, and then come on up to full kneeling. And then let's start with, what was the last leg we were on? So let's go back to the right leg, step the left foot forward. Now you might want a little bit of extra padding underneath your right knee. It's gonna make it less stable though, but that's okay. So I'm gonna grab that chip foam block under my right knee. This is where you really might want to be close to a wall. Maybe hands on hips, maybe arms out to the side, belly button to spine. Just play here with picking up the left leg. Right, and this is actually too unstable for me, so I'm going to go back down to my right knee. You could double up your mat for a little bit more, but really squeeze the bum on that right leg. Okay, maybe you play with extending that left leg forward. Whew. The more you squeeze the bum on that right leg, the more stability you're going to have. This is not supposed to be easy, right? Our bodies do not bear the weight of our legs forward while we're on our knees. So, a couple more breaths here. All right, and then maybe you start to tap that left leg back, hinge forward. Maybe you reach the leg back. Maybe you got a hand on the wall for a little bit more stability, or on hips. Right, this is super subtle, super challenging work. Last couple breaths, maybe keep playing with just lifting the toes up and down off the floor. Okay, step the left knee down, shake it out, a little wiggle or noodle. And then let's switch sides. So left knee stays down, right leg comes forward. Squeeze the bum like crazy on that back leg. Right, toes tucked can really help with the stability as well. Maybe arms out to the side or maybe hand on the wall. And again, try those little taps. Nothing too crazy. Maybe you try taking the right leg forward a little bit more. Keep squeezing the bum like crazy. on that supporting leg. Maybe you float it out. Whew, this is not my normal balancing side, but there you go. Right? And then maybe you tap the right toes back, hinge forward a little bit, play with lifting the right toes off the floor or reaching back, belly button to spine. Last couple breaths, maybe you keep reaching the right leg back, maybe you play with toe taps, maybe you're floating the leg in front of you. Okay, bring your hands to the floor, bring your knees to the floor, a little wiggle, a shake, and then shift your hips on one side, swing your legs forward, take a little windshield wiper of those knees, and give those knees a break, shake out your legs. Okay, let's release the glutes a little bit. Yay! So bring your right shin forward, left shin out to the side. So a 90-90 stretch. Sometimes this can get a little bit pinchy, a little bit crampy on the hip. If that's you, then tuck your heel in closer to your bum, and that releases the hip a little bit more. And then from here, you might just start to come forward over top of that front shin, or you might rotate and fold over top of that front thigh. You might just be twisting here, right? You don't have to fold. It might feel a bit deep. If you have props, you could bring them underneath your forehead for a little bit of support. If you don't have props and it's available to you, maybe just bend your elbows and bring your forehead to your thumbs in prayer. Or just let the head hang loose. So, allowing the body to settle a little bit. And by all means, if you'd prefer to work pigeon prep here, you're welcome to sweep the left leg back behind you and fold into pigeon. Last few breaths. All right. And slowly press yourself back up. Swing the left leg forward. Unwind that right leg. Shake them out a little bit. And then right away, we'll just go to the opposite side. So left shin comes in front. Right shin goes out to the side. And maybe you choose to tuck the heel in closer to the bum. And then maybe you fold over top of the shin or over top of the thigh. Maybe you're just taking the rotation and a little bit of a lean, right, wherever you need to go. And it can feel so different from one side to the other. You might want a different variation on this side than you did on the first. Right, so go wherever you need to go. And if you're folded forward with the head bowed, right, as soon as we feel like the world can't see our face, that's often when thoughts start to run wild. So if that's happening, just acknowledge whatever thought you might be having, but then try to draw your focus back to your breath, or even a single point of focus for your eyes on the floor in front of you. Last breath here. All right, and then slowly start to press yourself up again. Sweep that left leg forward, unwind the right, shake them out a little bit. A little windshield wiper of the legs. And then plant your feet in front of you. Bring your hands behind you. Point your fingertips back. Fingers spread nice and wide. And then wrap your shoulders, your elbows toward each other. Lift the heart up to the sky. This might be enough. If you'd like a little bit more of a chest opener, then press the hips forward. Make sure they're back down on the floor though. And then lift your heart up to the sky. A really nice opening for the chest and shoulders, the upper arms. Sometimes when we're trying to balance, we carry a little bit of tension into the chest. So this feels nice for me anyway. Hopefully it feels, or at least interesting for you. All right. And then gently bend your elbows, shake out your arms, and then let's roll down to the mat. You can do a Pilates style roll down if you want to. Tuck the tailbone under. You can use your hands on the thighs for support or behind you, or maybe you just come down to your side first and then make your way down onto the mat. Oh, it's really hard to do that while talking. And then hug your knees into your chest. Take a little rock from side to side. So let's set up for a twist. Bring your right arm out to the side. Maybe you shift your hips right a little bit to start with. And then as you exhale, lower your knees to the left. Any variation of twist that you want. Knees could be stacked, or single leg twist, or cross leg twist. This is a really great place to bring a block underneath your bottom thigh or between your knees for a bit more support. Try to find somewhere where your top foot can just rest, though, so you're not hovering the feet off the earth. And maybe you look along the right arm just to finish off the spiral in your neck. Last breath here. All right. And then inhale, return to center. Reset your pelvis and your spine. Maybe even shift the hips left a little bit. Left arm out to the side. And then lower your knees to the right. Again, any variation of twist that feels good here, or at least like a release. As gentle or as deep as you need. You might look along your left arm just to finish off the spiral in your neck. And then slowly on your inhale, return back to center. Reset your pelvis and your spine and draw your knees toward you. Take them wide out toward your shoulders or armpits for your happy baby. This might be where you stay, or you might kick your feet up to the sky. You can grab the backs of your thighs or anywhere along your legs, your ankles, or your feet. You might rock a little bit from side to side. You might extend one leg or the other. Excuse me. And if there's anything else you feel you need before your rest, please feel free to take it. Otherwise, start to make your way into your final resting pose. It could be flat on your back, legs bent or straight in Shavasana. You could rest on your side. Or child's pose might feel really good after all that glute work today, or a seated meditation. And there's no rush to get there, but once you have found your pose of rest for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. And exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. With each exhale, let your body melt a little bit deeper into the earth. Let go of all breath control. Let go of any last muscle gripping or tension. And again, thoughts may come and go. Acknowledge them without judgment, but let them go. And let them drift by you like leaves on the wind. And stay here longer if you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.